try this again. Yeah, the power went out right before I started streaming, like literally right before. So my audio got messed up. So I had to unplug some stuff, replug it back in, close it, open it. God, dude. That's what I get for living in this stupid house. It's pretty brutal, man. Pretty brutal. Can you guys hear me now? Should be able to. Absolutely astonishing. It is absolutely astonishing how difficult it is to set things up. It's taken me 2 years to get to this point, too. It's insane. Yeah. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I was trying to stream earlier, and the audio wasn't working. I was like, oh, great. That'll be perfect. That's perfect, man. Not a great experience to have your audio cut while you're trying to do music and stuff or talk about guitars. But yeah, let me know if there's a question about guitar, music, streaming. I play music professionally. I do streaming professionally. So if you guys got questions, let me know. We got some people on TikTok asking, play something from Smashing Pumpkins. No, sorry, sweetheart. No requests for music right now. Sorry. Let me actually just change that to say no music on this channel. Not right now, at least. Yeah, no music right now. Yeah, no music right now. I like to answer questions. Yeah, I like to talk about stuff before I start actually playing music. So, Blake's back in the YouTube land. Hey, what's going on? Welcome back. Of course, you would show up on TikTok, but not the YouTube one. Makes sense. But yeah, if you guys got questions about guitar, music, streaming, let me know. I'll try and answer a question for you. But, man, the power went out right before I started streaming, knocked all the audio off, got the cameras all messed up. I had to reset everything. That's why I'm a little bit late, about 17 minutes late. Juju says, what guitar do you have? I don't know. I got a couple of them. I got a couple Fenders, some Strats, Les Pauls, an SG knockoff, a couple different acoustics, a couple guitars that aren't even on the show. Yeah. Blake says, the TikTok looks nice. Were you on the TikTok, Blake? I didn't know that. Let's see here. Dude, I cannot read your name. All I can read is Annie, A-N-I, on TikTok. It says, how does the business of getting together with people and producing music go? That's a huge question. That's like saying, how does working with people work? That's a huge question. Anything more? You want to be more specific with that question? Like, how does it start? I mean, it's very simple. You just ask somebody, hey, do you want to work together? And then you talk to them and you say, here's what I propose. I do this, you do this, or maybe we work on something together. What do you want to do? That's how you're supposed to do it. Yeah, but that's kind of a bizarre question. But is there anything more specific you want to know? And then we got Chinasaur on YouTube who's saying, I love playing Green Day songs on guitar because they're fairly easy. Do you have any recommendations for me to learn? No, learn whatever you want, dude. I think it's weirdly, I think it's bizarre how some people will ask me what they should learn. It's like, no, dude, go listen to your favorite songs. Go figure out what songs you want to hear. That's what you should do. You should go out and figure out what songs you want to learn. Because let me give you an example. If I told you to learn a band you didn't even like, you're going to be like, I'm not going to want to learn that. Same thing with the song. Figure out what songs you want to learn. That's what you got to do, dude. That's what you got to do. Let's see here. We got Drop on TikTok saying, yo, brother, watch your video on top 5 most abandoned places and had no clue it was you. Dude, I hope you liked it. Yeah, I have repurposed that channel, which I'm on right now on YouTube. I repurposed it because even though I liked making those videos about abandoned places or interesting places or people or things in Virginia, I don't live there anymore. So I can't really do videos about Virginia if I don't live in Virginia. So it's pretty crazy how that works. Am I on Twitch too? No, I didn't get it set up in time. I had to redo a bunch of stuff, so we'll have to go on Twitch tomorrow. Logan says, bound to the floor. No music on this one, buddy. Not yet. We're not going to play music till 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so that's not for another hour and a half. I don't even know how to play Bound to the Floor, though, so sorry. Yeah, no idea. Local H is good. They got a couple good songs. Not a super fan, though. Abby on YouTube says, I loved the video you posted about how to buy a used guitar. Did you? I hope you did. Yeah, if you guys didn't know, I'm posting a lot of videos on YouTube. There's a video on how to buy a used guitar if you've never done that before. It's like 30 minutes long, but it is exhaustive. It is everything you need to know from the moment you go online to the moment you go and you drive away from picking it up. It's all there, dude. It's all there. So Blake says, I'm Descendant on TikTok. I didn't know that. Yeah. But yeah, let me know if there's a question. So far, we've gotten a couple kind of amorphous, nebulous questions that are kind of not really answerable. So if you guys got questions about guitar, music, streaming, let me know. I always like to make time before the show, whenever I do my music, for people to ask me questions and see if there's some kind of advice that they need or they need my opinion. I always like to do that. So yeah, let me know. Abby says on YouTube, very informative. It was good. Perfect. Thank you so much for watching it. Thank you so much, Abby. All right. We have Annie on TikTok. It says, how was your experience with touring? How was your... you got to work on your grammar, dude. How has your experience with touring been? Any horror stories or warnings you want to share? No, not really. Touring is, I mean... I have never gone touring across the country. I've only gone to like shows in the state I lived in. So I don't really have a lot of advice in like being in a car and driving for long periods of time. But I'll tell you this, I've moved a lot. So I have experience driving across the country. I have experience getting everything in a van. I have experience with a lot of that stuff. But as far as touring across the country goes, not really. I'm probably the worst person to ask right now. But, yeah, I don't have any good stories for you, dude. Sorry. An interesting question. I liked it, but, yeah, I got nothing for you. Yeah, I've moved a lot. I've definitely gone coast to coast. I've driven from California to the East Coast several times, but I've never really gone on a tour where, you book shows in advance. You show up. You say, hey, we're going to play here. I know that I've read stories about that, but I don't have anything personally for you, so. Space on TikTok says, have you ever heard of... No, I don't know what that is, dude. Sorry. Yeah, I don't know what that is, man. Got nothing for you. Blake on YouTube says, is there a certain way to make feedback on guitar keep going for a bit? Yeah, that's the whole point. That is the whole point. When you have feedback, what's happening is you get your guitar, right? You plug it in. And after you plug it in, the volume, that sound coming out of the speaker, actually vibrates the string, whatever harmonic it is. So if you're playing like, open E, let me plug this in for a second. So this is going through my headphones, so it's not going to feedback. But it'll hear itself, and it'll just keep making the string vibrate, and it'll just keep going. Now, what can happen is with feedback is that maybe it's not so strong that it immediately catches the note and it goes womp. Sometimes it'll just go slowly. But the whole concept of a feedback loop is that it feeds itself over and over and over again. So, yes, there are ways to get the guitar feedbacking more. That's to increase the volume or get closer to the speaker. There are ways to get it to where it doesn't do it at all, where you can cut the frequency and stuff like that. So it's pretty interesting how that works. But yeah, good question, but it's an easy answer, which is just make it louder, essentially, or have it pick up the sound more. So we got Cindy on YouTube that says, is that a Jaguar? Yes, it is. You got it. Perfect. What else we got here? We got somebody on TikTok asking a rhetorical question. Do you love Weezer? I like Weezer. Weezer's great, dude. Love playing Weezer. I can't play music when I'm doing the Pat Chat stuff just because it just becomes like, oh, people want to talk to me, but I'm playing music. But if I'm playing music, how am I supposed to talk to people? So I'm just kind of hanging out and answering questions about guitar, music, streaming. If you guys got a question, go ahead and let me know before I start playing music at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's about an hour and a half, you guys. So let me know. Let's see here. Meteora on YouTube says, thoughts on people that are only known for covering a song? It's kind of a blessing and a curse. I mean, there's several artists out there that are very good at playing certain songs, and they don't write them. Part of the experience of being a musician is not only the writing of music, but the performance. So some people can do one and not the other, and it's really brutal for them. But sometimes people just enjoy it. When I was doing Nirvana covers for a long time, I think I got kind of stuck in that experience, which I'm okay with playing other people's music. I enjoy it, but I don't want to do that forever. Like, I love playing covers because I enjoy them personally. But if people only want me to play covers, that's like, oh, I don't want to do that. So it's an experience that's not great. I think that there's a lot of people out there that can enjoy it. There are a lot of people in cover bands that are having a good time. But there's no real, desire that I have. So, like I said, it's a blessing in the respect that, like, some people really do a much better job. Johnny Cash is Hurt. You got The Man Who Sold the World from Nirvana. I mean, there's so many great songs out there where you prefer the cover, and some people don't even know it's a cover. But yeah, I don't personally want to be in a cover band the entire time. So it's one of those bits. So not a big fan about it. So, we got another question on TikTok. We got Ricardo saying Blue or Pinkerton. All right, anybody Weezer fan? Anybody a Weezer fan? If you're not a Weezer fan, that's okay. But what do you guys think? The Blue album? Or do you like Pinkerton? That's the first album, the second album. I think there's only one answer to this question. I think there's only one answer, in my opinion. But I want to know what you guys want to hear. We got 2Cat on YouTube who says Pinkerton. Yawning says Blue. All right, we got Blake with the Blue album. Ricardo says Pinkerton on TikTok. Come on, get in here. If you haven't said something, I want to know in the chat. It's a live experience. So why would you want to watch something if you can't experience the instant gratification of having me say something back to you? So I want to know. Annie says, love Blue and Pinkerton, can't pick honestly. You must pick! Gun to your head, you got to pick one. Let's see here. We're answering a question between the Blue album and Pinkerton. All right, ready? I'll give you my answer. Ready? Here we go. Blue album! Pinkerton's not very good in my opinion. It has a couple good songs. That's it. Not a lot of great ones. Not a lot of great ones, man. It's got maybe 2 or 3, in my opinion, that are good. The rest of the album, I'm like, it's okay. I don't know. It's kind of weird to me. Unless you know the backstories on some of the songs on Pinkerton, they're almost unlistenable. So if you like the Blue album, every single song, banger, 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 so good. You don't have to explain anything to anybody. Like, oh, well, Rivers was in college and he was lonely. It's like, shut up. Shut up. Shut your mouth. Pinkerton. If you have to explain something like that, I don't know if it's very good, in my opinion. So, yeah, it's a great record, though. The Blue album is so good. It's so good. All right, so we got some other folks on TikTok asking some questions. Let me see here. Nope, never mind. I don't. Somebody's asking me a really odd question on there, so hold on. What do we got here? Any other questions on YouTube? Let's see here. People asking me if I know how to play songs. Sorry, no music, even if I did. No music on this one. We're doing a Pat Chat, so we're answering questions. We're talking about guitar. We're talking about music. We're talking about streaming. I want to know. I want to know! Yeah, any other questions? Anybody got anything for you? Let's see here. Meteora on YouTube says, thoughts on modern-day rap? I think it's great, dude. I'm going to tell you right now, it's a bit different than your mom's rap. You know what I mean? When your mom was a kid. But, everybody... I think of all the genres that have, like, progressed, I think rap has done this really interesting thing where we got to see it being born from like the late 70s, the early 80s when you got hip-hop. Then we saw it becoming more mainstream in the 90s. And then we saw it become the dominant form of music in like the late 2000s. Isn't that interesting? Yawning Man on YouTube says, got worse. Oof. I don't know, man. I think it's just different now, but I think it's excellent. There's a lot of great records out there. You know what I mean? When did it become worse? What was the last album you listened to and you were like, this sucks? I think it's great, dude. TikTok, what do you guys think? You think rap got worse, or do you think it got just different? It's a bit. Yawning says no blues and R&B anymore. Dude, that stuff still exists. You're old, I can tell. Anytime somebody says something like that, I can tell you're just out of touch, man. There's so many. Let me explain something to you guys, all right? Every genre of music you've ever heard still exists. It's all still out there. There's tons of jazz. There's tons of old school hip hop. There's tons of R&B. There's tons of great music out there. It's just what is selling, what is the dominant, what is the biggest deal is mostly the new stuff, right? So, I mean, it's all out there, dude. It's all out there. There's so much great music. But it's just, if you want something new, then yeah, you're not going to hear, rap from the early 80s. It's not there. But I'll tell you this. If you're a fan of Beastie Boys, there's a ton of artists out there that sound like Beastie Boys. There's a ton of people out there that sound like, Vanilla Ice. If I don't know if you like Vanilla Ice, but it's all out there. It's just you have to look for it. We have a really interesting time. I keep talking about this, where we talk about our favorite genres of music. It's everything all the time. You think about the 90s. You have grunge, right? You had pop punk showing up at the end of the decade. Then you had pop punk in the early 2000s. You had emo music. You had screamo. You had metalcore. You had all these other genres that popped up. Those all still exist. There's no dominant singular form of media right now. So everybody's just listening to whatever they want, whenever they want. So it's really interesting how that works. So. Yeah. Hey, yeah, I'm back on TikTok. If you guys didn't know, I'm on TikTok again. We're going to be doing some multi-streaming. I'm mainly still on YouTube. I still love my YouTube channel. So if you're on TikTok, I'm back, but we'll be multi-streaming. So if you want to ask a question, if you want to talk about guitar, music, streaming, it's all there. But bottom line is it's all out there. It is all out there as far as music goes. Look at style. Look at fashion. Like, if you think about it, skinny jeans, that was like the 2000s, 2010s, things like that. And now it's like baggy jeans are back. That was like an early 90s thing. Not even that much. Now, who's wearing baggy jeans? Who's got like normal jeans? Who's got skinny jeans? I want to know in the comments. Let me know. Let me know. What's everybody wearing as far as jeans go? Skinny jeans, baggy jeans, or we got normal, like just in the middle? What do we got? Mallory says, I'm very much baggy jeans person. See, that's a new thing. That's a new thing. Also, thank you for everybody that's following. You guys are awesome. Thank you for subscribing. You guys are sick. Yep, that's kind of a generational gap. A lot of my older folks, everybody in the retirement home is still wearing either skinny jeans or normal jeans right now. But if you're wearing baggy jeans, that's kind of a thing for the younger folks. Stay a while and listen. Yeah, thank you for this follow. You guys are doing great. Yeah, I mean, music is like that too. I mean, everybody has kind of a genre that they hooked on to. So it's very interesting how that's working. Any other questions about guitar, music, or streaming? I'm just going to keep rambling on. I'm going to ramble on. Sorry, I can't play music on this channel. I have a... We're talking about music. Every time I try to play music on here, I get in trouble. So we're going to play music later when I'm on my second channel. Or if you're on TikTok, I'll just be on here still. Let's see here. Somebody... hold on a sec. I got to tell you, this is really funny. We got Hardcase on TikTok. Why are you just telling me things? You can just ask me questions. You don't have to tell me stuff. It's kind of a one-sided conversation, don't you think? If you go, hey, Pat, guess where I went? I went to this concert. It's like, that's nice, sweetie. That's nice, honey. Thank you for telling me. Let's see here. Halifax says guitar, music, and streaming. Yep, that's what we're talking about. Yeah, if you got a question, if you want me to give you some advice on something, if you want me to share my opinion, let me know. Yeah. But don't just say, hey, this is what I did. It's like, cool, what am I supposed to say? What do you want me to do about that? What are you, crazy? Emmy on TikTok says, do you still have the guitar with people's names on it? Yes, I do. That is correct. I have it right here. Yep, I got everybody who originally subscribed to me on TikTok when I first started on there. Yeah, everybody's names are still on there, still preserved. So if you were original subscriber on there, hey, your name's on there. Let's see here. All right. No other questions? Nobody has a topic about guitar? Really? You guys are funny, man. Nobody wants to be a musician. Nobody wants to play guitar and has questions about it. Nobody has questions about how to become a professional streamer, like moi. Okay, here we go. We got a couple questions. They're music related. Okay, hold on. Let's see here. We got TikTok that says, favorite Radiohead album? I don't know, man. They're all so good. I'll tell you this. I think I like everything but the last 2 albums from Radiohead. That's about it. What's the first song I learned? Hard Case says. I think the first song I learned all the way through was "Come As You Are," for sure. "Come As You Are" was my first song I learned all the way through. Hold on a second. Get out of here. Let's see here. Wait a second. Meteora on YouTube says, Pat, my Seasons in the Sun vocal cover got 3,000 plays on Spotify. You got a license for that? You got a license to play that song? Are you allowed to? Are you allowed to cover that? How does that work? XAV on TikTok says, what do you use to record? I use Ableton. I'm a big fan of Ableton. I enjoy the program. I have a little bit of an older form of Ableton. It's like Ableton 9. I tried using the newest one. I don't know what they're on, 12 now, maybe 11. I think they're on 12. And I just didn't like it as much. All the stuff I used to use is not really compatible as much, and it's a little weird, so it's a little odd. So. Man, I'll tell you what. Can we talk about this real quick? If you're on YouTube, the YouTube comment section is really slow right now. TikTok's just flying by. What's going on with that? People on YouTube don't have questions for me? What's going on with that? I see Yawning Man says, what do you think of the 70s, 80s prog rock? King Crimson's good. I like King Crimson. But as far as other bands, I don't know. King Crimson's good, though. I was just listening to them just the other day, actually. This is fascinating, man. It's so funny to see the difference between 2 streaming platforms, because I've been off of TikTok for a whole year, and there's all these people flying through the comment section. Meanwhile, people on YouTube, real subtle. Yeah, interesting. I wonder what's up with that. We got Valt. I can't read your name. Sorry, it's a little small. It says, what do you think of Metallica in its Load and Reload album era? Not really. I don't think about them at all. I'm going to be real with you. After the first 4, maybe 5 records, I think after the Black Album, I kind of tuned them out. Anybody else? Metallica fan all the way through? Or are you like a OG first couple albums Metallica fan? What do you guys think? OG Metallica, or you like all of Metallica? What do you guys like? I want to know! I want to know what you guys think. Halifax, first 5 albums? Okay. Let's see here. Anybody else? Blake says, I also like the OG. Little bit of the later albums. Okay. First 7. Interesting. Okay. Everything from Saint Anger and beyond. That's funny. Nobody on TikTok listens to Metallica? Really? Everybody on YouTube's like, yo, Metallica. Okay. TikTok is saying, oh, okay, we got one person to answer the question. Oh, no, we got 2. Oh, 2 OGs. I'm going to be real with you. Also, thank you for the donation from Ice Cold. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Very cool. Halifax says Saint Anger is overhated. I think it's okay. I never really got into it. Not a super fan of the later stuff. So it's okay. Nope, no music right now. Sorry, everybody that's asking me to play music. Sorry, no music right now. We're answering questions. We're talking about guitar. We're talking about music. We're talking about streaming. Let's see here. Chinasaur on YouTube says, do you think Ernie Ball regular slinky strings are good for E flat? Yeah, they're probably fine. What are those, 10s? Yeah, as long as they're, let me put it this way, you can use any string you want. It's the tension that matters. Like if you use really light strings and then you detune them, they're going to be kind of spaghetti. So if you use really heavy strings and tune up, they're going to be like railroad rails. They're going to be impossible to move, dude. So that's a big part of it, is that you want to make sure that your guitar is set up for your strings. Does anybody know how to do a guitar setup on here? You guys know what I'm talking about when I say do a guitar setup? Anybody have no idea what I'm talking about? Who's new to guitar? Does anybody have no idea what I'm talking about? Irk on YouTube says, I'm lost. Kyle says, what's your favorite floating bridge? Hold on a second. Before we get into other questions, I want to see, does anybody actually know, who plays guitar? Let's answer that question. Let's answer that question. Does anyone play guitar in here? Zav, you said you have no idea what I'm talking about, but you play guitar. That's not a good sign. That's like saying, I don't know what gasoline is, but I drive a car. I don't know why you're British, but. Petrol. What do you call a gas? Why do you call a liquid a gas? Anyways. All right, I'll tell you. Can I give you guys a real quick tip? Not that quick, actually. Do you guys want me to explain the process of setting up a guitar? It's pretty easy, actually. It's only 5 steps. It's 5 steps. That's it. Yeah. 5 steps. You know what I'm talking about? I think we'll talk about it for a second. All right, but I want to make sure I'm not just talking to just one person about this. Let me know in the chat if you want me to talk about how to get your guitar set up in a way where it's like, oh, that's not so bad. I can now play it easier. This is great. We'll figure it out. What do you got? What do you guys want to hear? We got Addison who followed. Thank you so much. I see Judy says yes. We got Emmy, yes. We got China Store, yes. Talk about guitar, funny man. Rachel says, hey, welcome back. All right, I'll tell you exactly what's going on. All right, so let's talk about this. All right, so here's how you set up a guitar. It is something called the train method. T-R-A-N-E. I'm sorry, T-R-A-I-N. Excuse me, I forgot it's the usual way it's spelled. My bad. Train method. That means I'm an expert because I spelled it wrong. So the idea is that every letter acronym. So T stands for tuning. So when you get a guitar for the first time, let's say you buy a guitar, you get home, you take it out of the case, or if you take it out of the gig bag, whatever it is, you sit down, you got to make sure it's in tune. Whatever tuning you want it to be. Whatever tuning you want it to be. Let me emphasize that. Because if you're trying to play in a specific tuning and you're always just like switching your tuning all up and down the street, like let's say, for example, you want to play the song Come As You Are, right? You want to play in the tuning for that song. You find out, you look it up, you go, oh, it's played in D standard. If you change the tuning of your guitar to D standard from E standard, it's going to loosen the strings up, it's going to loosen that tension, and it's going to throw everything out of whack. So make sure you're in the tuning you want to be in. That's why I have so many guitars over here. It's not because I just like guitars. I do. You have to have certain guitars for certain tunings because as soon as you change it, it messes everything up. So the T in the train method is tune. All right? So make sure it's in the tuning you want it to be. And then R stands for relief. So that has to do with the neck. So if you didn't know this, check this out. In the guitar neck, there's something called a truss rod. Did anybody know this? Did you know there's a truss rod? Yeah, make sure you guys, if you don't know this, here, I'll even show you something. Let's check this out. If you have a Fender guitar, you'll actually see on most of them something called a skunk stripe. See this little stripe on the back of the neck? That is where they put the truss rod in. Isn't that interesting? They take the truss rod, they stick it in through the back, and then they put like another piece of wood on there. Isn't that interesting? So you're thinking, what is a truss rod though? All right, so hold on. Let's get a picture. Let's get some diagram stuff real quick. All right, so we're going to pull up Microsoft Edge because I never use it, and we'll be able to look at some stuff together. So hold on. So we'll pull up window capture. We'll look at this together, shall we? Microsoft Edge. There we go. Perfect. Now you can't see me at all. Wonderful. Great. Grand. Excellent. There we go. Now I'm here. All right. So let's look up truss rod. TRUSS. That's what a truss rod is. So you're going to be adjusting this thing. So in the guitar neck, check this out. We're going to use some X-ray vision. We're going to go. So check that out. So this is a truss rod. There's a piece of metal that goes through the neck. And you tighten it and you loosen it depending on what you want that neck to be doing. So check this out. So you got your Strat, you got your guitar. A lot of guitars, they put the truss rod adjustment thing right here. See that little oval shape? So what you would do is you can get an Allen wrench, an Allen key. You can get the Gibson one. And what you do is you would stick that in there, and then you tighten it or you loosen it. And that will make the neck either super straight, right? It'll be like this. Or if you tighten it a lot, it's going to bend forward. So that way, if we're thinking about it this way, right? It'll bend forward. That way you get a little higher thing in the neck for the strings, higher action. Or you loosen it, and then it could go the other way too. So, yeah, you want to make sure your neck is straight. So, anyways, keep it growing. The A is for action, for the train method. So the A for action. So you'd be adjusting your bridge saddles and making sure your neck is straight. And then intonation, you want to make sure these screws, these little guys right here, these are called your bridge saddles. You'll be making them go forward or backward, depending on how in tune it is, up the neck. And then last step, after you do intonation, would be N for noodle. So you just play the guitar. And then if it doesn't play right, you got to go back and restart over again. So I hope that answers a lot of questions about how to do guitar setup. That's 5 steps. That's it. That's it. That's all you got to do. It takes about 15 minutes, 20 minutes at the most to get your guitar set up. So it's pretty interesting how that works. So any other questions? We got any other questions about guitar, music, streaming? Let me know. It's a whole bunch of stuff out there. But, yeah, you're probably thinking, well, you just explained it to us, but can you show us? It's going to take a long time to do that. I don't think I want to spend 20 minutes on one specific question. So, we got May on TikTok who says, what would you recommend for my first electric guitar? What do you like? What makes you want to play guitar? What do you think? Self says, clean the frets, sharpen them. Yeah, sharpen the frets. That's a good idea. Sharpen the frets. What are you, crazy? Do I know anything about drums? Not really. I'm probably not a good person to ask about it. We got somebody with a cross as their name saying, how do I get a neoclassical tone? Neoclassical? Well, you watch The Matrix while you're listening to Mozart. Let's see, what else we got here? Any other questions? So we got Kyle on TikTok who says, would you recommend upgrading from a PRS Custom 24 to a Custom Sinister Gates? I don't think that's really an upgrade. I think it's just more like a sideways thing. Let me show you what those two guitars are, everybody. We'll look at this together. We'll see what these two guitars look like. So I'm going to look up. You said it was a Custom 24. What color? Custom 24 PRS. It's you can get some good colors in there. But the PRS is the company, Paul Reed Smith. You guys want to tell me what your favorite color of the guitar is? Maple brownish. I don't think that's a color, but I think I know what you're trying to say. Maple brownish. Is it this guy? Is it just a natural? Is it... I mean, you don't have to answer the question necessarily, but anybody have a favorite question or a color on there? Yeah, I'm not a super big PRS fan. Nah, the brown one? This one? Or it's probably this one. Oh, it's a tobacco. Like a burst. Is this it? This is probably the exact guitar, isn't it? Yeah, I'm not a fan of them. Not a big fan of PRSs. But they're good. They're not bad guitars at any stretch of the imagination. If anybody bought this, I'd be like, dude, good job. This is your guitar, Kyle? And you said you like it, but you don't love it, and you're going to switch to this guitar. You said the Sinister Gates? Whoops. How do you spell sinister? He spells it... Oh, okay, hold on. He spells it S-Y. And you want to get this guitar? Is it the one with the pinstripes? What do we think, everybody? We think that what's the prettier one? You like this one, the brown one, the PRS, or do you like the pinstripes, the Schecter? What do you guys think? Which one do you like better? I'm going to tell you right now, I would probably rather have this guy than this guy, but I don't think they're bad guitars at all. Blake, you like the PRS? Okay. Ice Cold, you like brown? Brown. My guitar is brown. It's really just a burst. You know it's a burst because if you see the color right here, you see how it goes out. It fades to black in a really pretty way. Anytime you see the color kind of change like that, they call it a burst. So most people like the PRS. Okay. Well, I'll tell you this. I don't think it's worth upgrading to this guy unless you really, really want two things, which is the style. If you're a big Avenged Sevenfold fan, you can't get anything better than that. I mean, that's exactly what he plays, right? The other thing, too, would be the Floyd Rose. Does anybody know what a Floyd Rose is? If you don't know what Floyd Rose is this doohickey right here. It's this big hunk of metal all the way right here. Let's take a look at what a Floyd Rose looks like off the guitar. These are kind of a pain in the ass, to be honest. So Floyd Rose is the big hunk of metal that gives you the whammy bar kind of thing. Oh, that's a terrible one, actually. We went the double locking. Let's get the good one. Yeah, this is the Floyd Rose. So Floyd Rose is the thing you stick the whammy bar in. It's got these little tiny little thumb tuners. It makes it a little bit easier to play, a little bit easier to stay in tune. But they are a pain in the butt, dude. They are a pain. So you got your Eddie Van Halens. You got your Dimebag Darrells. A whole bunch of artists that really like to use tremolos really like these. If I was going to use a tremolo, Floyd Rose is what I'd use. But I don't like to use tremolos because it knocks me out of tune pretty easily. You kind of messes with how you bend notes. You have to really marry it. But that being said, if you look at the price of this one, $315. That's pretty fair, honestly, for what it does and how well it's made. So this guitar, if you look, this does not have a Floyd Rose. This has what's called a Strat-style tremolo. And if you look at it, you can look at the back. You can see this cavity right here. I'll show you something cool. So on... Wait a second. Oh! Dude, here we go. TikTok's already mad at me. TikTok is not happy about me showing Sweetwater. That's really funny. They're like, your live has been restricted. You can't show websites with prices on them. All right, I guess we have to get off that. Anyways, so this is where the tremolo comes into it. This is without the backplate. So this is what it looks like. It's just a piece of metal with some wonderful springs on it. So what it does is when you get your whammy bar, you put it in the little hole right there. And then when you bend notes, this thing will pull back on it. That way it goes back with tension. So it goes out of tune a lot more than a Floyd Rose, in my opinion. They're a little bit easier to handle. You don't have to have tools to get it started and stuff like that. You just put the string in. You just make sure it's in the tension set up, and then you don't have to touch it again. So the Floyd Rose, if you try to change, for example, the string gauge, like let's say you go from light strings to heavy strings, the moment you change that, you have to reset everything back up. You do have to do that on this too, but it's a bit easier. You just take a screwdriver and tighten the springs. That's it. Or loosen them. So it's pretty interesting how that works. You put a bottle cap in your tremolo drain? Yep. Yeah, you can block it off. I always block off my guitars. So I block those off. So I'm going to tell you right now, if you want to get something between those two guitars, man, if you want to get something between those two guitars, get the one you like. I don't think it's going to be worth it, but I think that if it makes you happy, if it makes you want to play guitar, that's what you want. Always trust how you feel with instruments, because I say this a lot in the recommendations I make for guitars to people. It's you're writing songs. Just because the neck, right, is a little bit stickier, if it's a little bit easier to play, that's not going to affect your ability to write a song. It's going to affect your desire to write a song. Does that make sense? So if you're buying a guitar and it makes you feel like playing music, that's your job. It's all in here, man. Most of it, at least. So, oh yeah. Oh, I got a couple people on TikTok saying, "Hey, where have you been? It's only been a year. It's been 1 year on TikTok. So, anybody anybody play guitar with a tremolo? Do you guys know what I'm talking about with a whammy bar? Who plays guitar with a whammy bar? Not me. But do you? Let me know in the chat. I want to see everybody in there. Hardcase says, what picks do I use? I like to use the .73 Dunlops, but you should really just use whatever you like. Ice Cold on TikTok says, I took mine off. My man. Psh, very cool. We got China Star says, I love doing whammy dive bombs. I mean, if you can do them, dude, more power to you. Very happy to see that. Very happy to see that. Kyle says, honestly, I think the Sinister Custom looks sick with the Death Bat logo. Then get it, dude. Let me put it this way. If you think spending double the amount of money on something, you already own the guitar, right? You already own the PRS. Buy what makes you want to play guitar. Get the Sinister Gates. There's so many Avenged Sevenfold fans that love that guitar. Go get it. I mean, I'm inspired by a whole bunch of guitars and how they look and how they feel. Go for that. Go for that, dude. But I'm going to tell you right now, you're spending more than double, and you already have a good guitar. So it's up to you. Let's see here. Not everybody plays guitar. Who's in here? Can I just see a show of hands? Can we get a hand emoji? Can I get a hand emoji of everybody in the room? I want to see everybody in here. Because I see a bunch of people, but it's really interesting because we got Halifax on YouTube. We got Blake on YouTube. We got Give on TikTok. We got Rachel. What's going on? We got Yucatan. Welcome back, buddy. We got Carlos on YouTube. China Star. Welcome back. We got Ice Cold. We got Zav. We got Derek on TikTok. Man, I'll tell you what. Interesting. It's very interesting to see the dynamic between YouTube and TikTok. Already kind of just going nuts. Halifax says, I haven't been able to comment on the main channel for a while. Interesting. Not sure why. That's usually a bad sign. But, yeah, as long as you don't, spam, as long as you're not rude and distracting, then you won't get, removed. So, it's all good, dude. Yeah, just don't do whatever you did again. I don't know what you did. So, let's see here. No other questions for guitar? No other music questions? No other streaming questions? Let me know. Hey, tap that screen also if you're having a good time. Tap it. I wonder who's going to tap more. Hold on. What's weird is YouTube doesn't tell you how many taps people have done. They just do how many likes the live stream has. So let's see here. We've got 2,300 on TikTok. On YouTube, it doesn't say how many likes does the YouTube have. The like counter, not the likes, if that makes sense. I want to know. And then we have somebody with another name. You guys got to really figure out the concept of naming yourselves, because if you put a bunch of gibberish, I don't know how I'm supposed to say it to you. So if you want to have your name called, dude, change your name to something, at least that I can read. But the Squire Jazzmaster, worth it, they say. Let's look at him. We were looking at Jazzmasters yesterday. Let's take a look. And I got to be careful with this, because apparently if I show a website, TikTok will get mad at me. So hold on. We're going to go look at Jazzmasters. Does anyone know what a Jazzmaster is? We're going to pull this up. So if we go to videos. We'll go to images. There we go. Let's get out of there. Okay, so this is a Jazzmaster. I'm going to pull up the three-tone sunburst. Yeah, so this is a Jazzmaster. Oh, let me pull that over here. Oh, can't grab it now. Can you believe TikTok gets mad at me for this? YouTube doesn't. All right, so this is a Jazzmaster. This is the Squire one. So can we get a bigger picture of that, please? Enhance. So this is a Jazzmaster. So this guitar was made in, 58? 59? 1959? And the thing that it was trying to do is become a jazz guitar. But a lot of jazz guitarists didn't like it. They didn't like how it kind of felt, and it was kind of too space age technology. They like their guitars to look. Like this. This is what they like their guitars to look like. So you can imagine if you go from this to this, it's going to be kind of like a, I don't want to look at that. You know what I mean? So Jazzmasters, I think that they're okay. I'm not a big fan of them, to be honest. I do like Jaguars. But the problem, does anybody know why somebody would not like this guitar? Anybody want to take a guess why? They're not P90s. They're not P90s. I saw Cool Killer, welcome back, buddy, on YouTube. Cool Killer says P90s. They're not P90s. That's a common mistake, and it makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense. Zav on TikTok says Jazzmasters are cool, but I hate the look of the pickups. I don't hate the look of them, but I understand it. They are really kind of just really odd looking. Blake on YouTube says the bridge. Afternoon says the bridge. Yeah, that's a pretty big flaw with it. So if you guys look right here, see this bridge, this big hunk of metal right here? We've talked about this with Jaguars on the show. The problem with Jazzmasters is they have the same equipment. The pickups are noisy too. Yeah, that's true. That's true. So if you look at this bridge, we've talked about this many times on my show. The fact that while you're playing it, you can knock the string off of it really easily, not great for people who want to play with a little more oomph, a little more pizzazz. They want a little more sauce on their song. You know what I mean? If you look too, not many people realize this, but it's also kind of noisy as far as this goes, which can be like okay. Some people think it's good, some people think it's bad, but check this out. So if I get my pick, and you see all the strings are kind of floating right here, they're just kind of on the top. If I do this, it's kind of noisy, isn't it? But you can get a cool effect if you get some distortion, right? You can go. You can also do it up here. So it sounds cool. Like you can get a really cool effect out of that. But if you're trying to be quiet, that noise can be like, I don't know if I like that. So the Jazzmaster suffers from that. So if you look, it's got the same stuff, dude. It's like the same guitar. They just did a couple things to make it a little bit different. So, yeah, Kurt used a Jaguar. That is true. But his was modified. He didn't modify it, but a lot of people modify theirs. I modified mine. You can make it more tolerable. I call it domestication of a guitar. So if you modify your guitar like Kurt did, you're domesticating the Jaguar. So, but yeah, so the Jazzmaster has a bunch of issues like that. They're shared, but the pickups, these guys, right? These big pieces of soap, right? The reason people either love them or they hate them is because they're so noisy. They're very clean. Now, if you remember, somebody said those aren't the same pickups as a P90. I was saying they're not P90s. Let me show you what a P90 looks like. That looks exactly the same, doesn't it? Right here? Doesn't that look exactly the same? It's got those big screws in the middle. It's got the casing around it. Looks like a big bar of soap. Let's look at a white one, actually. Let's look at one with a white P90. That way, a little apples to apples kind of situation, you know what I'm saying? Not many white P90s. They're usually black. I don't really see very many. Oh, here we go. Here's one. This one looks like we caught it right after Thanksgiving. But yeah, so if you look at it, it looks very similar. They look very similar, right? You're probably thinking, well, what's the difference then? Why are you saying they're different? I'll explain why. So if you look at P90 Jazzmaster, you can see how they're constructed. It's like very, very obvious. One of them has like a really flat, wide winding, so the copper is just like super out there, and then the P90 is really thin. Oh wow, these are terrible pictures. Because there's definitely people who have done this thing. Here we go. Here's a good picture. So if you look, the Jazzmaster pickup is really thin. It's like a little wafer. And the coil goes way out there, all the way to the edge. So you hear the entire string. Whereas a P90 pickup has a bunch of magnets, and then it's really thinly. It's only like just in the center. So some people prefer the warmth and the thickness of these pickups. Other people really like the fact that this has a very brittle, like big piercing sound. So this is more like a Strat pickup, and this is more like a really fat sounding pickup. So it's good. They're both good. But this, it hears everything in the room. Remember how I said it's noisy? Let me show you an example. This is just a thin pickup right here. So this is like the sound of it. I've demonstrated this a couple times. So if I put on distortion, I put on the neck pickup. This is quiet. No distortion. No distortion. Right? It's plugged in. You can't hear anything, can you? Listen to this. Watch this. You hear that? The Jazzmaster is even worse by a lot. So if you're thinking about buying a Jazzmaster, so if you're thinking about buying this guitar, be aware you're going to hear that a lot if you have distortion. So that's what I think about Jazzmasters. I think they're good to play, but they have some kind of problems. You have to deal with them. I'm not saying you can't own one. I'm saying you have to deal with those problems. So, Halifax, I'm starting to see why you were banned on the other one. You're like, I'm going to talk about something not on topic. Blake says, do you like the Jagmaster? Jagmasters are okay. I've seen those before. I'm not a big fan of them. Definitely it's like a Squire model, right? They don't have a Fender one anymore, or at all. They never got one of those. Yeah. Yucatan says, get a noise gate. You could get a noise gate, or you could just get humbuckers and never have to worry about that again. It's not a big deal with it. Lewis on TikTok says, hey, I got a HSS Strat, very smart, an LTD, a double humbucker guitar, and a Dean ML. What would you recommend me to get a fourth guitar? I don't know, man. It sounds like you're a metal guy. It sounds like you got a bunch of guitars that kind of do the same thing, too, to be honest. You're going to have to figure that out, man. I mean, there's a whole bunch. You could get an SG, but again, they're all pretty much the same guitar. They're all kind of, metal guy guitars. I don't know, man. That's not enough information for me to know. Tell me more. Connor says, what's my favorite guitar? I like Strats. I like Jaguars. I like Les Pauls. I like those guitars a lot. You called it Flamingo? We got Nick on TikTok who called it Flamingo. That's close, buddy. Not quite right, but pretty close. Flamingo finger style, everybody. Poems, everybody. Poems. That's funny, dude. It's flamenco. Just so you know. That way you don't look like a dummy. Flamenco. I play a flamingo guitar. Autocorrect, I swear, Nick says. Okay, buddy. Sure. No, it makes sense. Yeah, why would you write flamenco? What's everybody's favorite band? I'll let you guys, instead of asking me a question, let me ask you guys a question. All right, pal? All right, is that fair? What's your guys' favorite bands? What do you like to listen to? What do you like? What's your genre of choice? Let me hear. I want to see what everybody's out there. Lane on YouTube says ZZ Top. Good choice. Blake says Nirvana, my favorite band. Nick says Jeff Buckley. Who could have guessed that? Yucatan says Ozzy Osbourne. All right. Cool Killer says Finals. Hey, that's my band. Cool Killer is so cool. I'm so glad you're on the Discord, man. Thank you for that, by the way. Alex says, when you're buying a new guitar, what's a common mistake people make for the new... Oh, that's a great question. Dude, that's an amazing question. All right. So when new people buy a guitar, one of the biggest mistakes that they make is, in my opinion, they don't buy something that makes them want to play guitar. They buy something that's cheap, which you can buy something cheap. You're allowed to. Everybody does it. Most people know that there's a chance that they're not going to stick with it. So when you buy a guitar for the first time, one of the biggest mistakes they make is they buy something that is recommended to them, not something that they really want to play. Does that make sense? So, like, for example, if you're a big Jimi Hendrix fan, Cool Killer, you're a Hendrix fan. Was your first guitar a Strat? Let's see. Hold on, real quick. Cool Killer is on YouTube, by the way, everybody. So if you're on TikTok, you're not going to see the response. Cool Killer says, no, sir. Didn't get a Strat, but you're a big Jimi Hendrix guy. What was your first guitar? Oh, that's right, the EC50. So this was, let me show you guys something. So this was Cool Killer's first guitar. And remember, Cool Killer is on YouTube. EC50 LTD. You're going to look at this and you're going to be like, huh, that doesn't look anything close. What color was it again? Was it the Was it the one you changed the color on? What'd you say? What was it originally? I can't remember. Is that the one you changed the color on? Because I want to get the exact thing so we can look at it all together. When we got, hey, what's going on? Welcome back. If you don't know, that's okay. Here, I'll just pull something up. I'm going to say it's the black one. I'm going to go with black. So this is the EC50. We can look at this together. So this guitar, you're not going to get this right away, but if you're inspired to play guitar by somebody, a lot of times you're going to look at it and you're going to want to play something your hero played. So this is the guitar Cool Killa got. Now, does this look like Jimi Hendrix's guitar? Hold on. Let me look at this. We're going to look at this together. Does this look the same? Huh? Is this the same? What are we thinking? These look pretty different, right? So when you're playing your hero's equipment, a lot of times you're going to feel more inspired. You're going to feel really, you're going to feel that kind of mojo to play guitar. So Blake says, I can't tell. Wait, hold on. I don't know. They look the same to me. That's funny, dude. Yeah. So this is not the same guitar. So these are looking very different. So when you're looking at guitars, you want to buy something that really makes you want to play. Now, obviously, if it's the right price, cool. But I think that's one of the big differences when people start playing guitar is they don't get something they want. They get something that is supposed to be a good deal. So that's a big problem for a lot of people. I would say another problem for most people when they first start playing guitar is they don't realize there are some accessories you do need. You're going to need strings. Like, if you break a string, you're going to have to go all the way. You're going to have to go all the way back to the guitar shop. You don't want to do that. So get yourself some replacement strings. Make sure you get yourself a guitar cable. Make sure you get an amp if you're getting an electric guitar. A whole bunch of stuff like that. So you want to get those amazing little accessories that'll help you out in playing guitar. Because if you don't, you're gonna go home. You're gonna go, wait a second. I forgot a tuner. I don't know how to tune this. You got to go all the way back. So make sure you get everything in one shot. So that's a big thing when people first start playing guitar. That's a kind of a big issue. Yeah, so that's a pretty big issue. Pretty big issue. We were just talking about that, on YouTube. Jag or Jazzmaster? Jaguar. I'm a big Jaguar guy. Not a big Jazzmaster guy. Not a big fan. They're okay, but not a big fan. Everybody on TikTok seems awfully quiet. No more other questions from you guys? What's going on there? YouTube's taking over. Looks like YouTube's kicking TikTok's butt right now. Oh, what's going on with that? Nathan says, who needs a tuner these days? I use my phone. Okay. I'll tell you why. I'll explain why not using a tuner for your phone is like having a tuner in your either like a clip-on tuner or having a pedal tuner. Those are better than using your phone. You know why? I'll give you a couple reasons. One, when you're using your phone, it has to be quiet in the room. If you're playing with other people, if you're hanging out with people, you can't use it. You're like, shut up, guys. I'm trying to tune my guitar. And everyone's going to be like, shut up, guys. I'm tuning my guitar. You're not going to be able to use it if you have to be quiet. The second thing is that when you're using your phone, you have to be able to do it by ear, or it has to have a really clear signal from your string to your phone if it's listening to it. And again, if anything's making noise, it's going to mess it up. But it's more accurate if you just plug it in. So it's not going to be as accurate. So you could use your phone, but you got two big problems: the accuracy and the fact you have to be quiet. So, yeah, if you get a clip-on tuner, check this out. Clip-on tuners are pretty good. I don't love them because you have to buy batteries for them. Batteries suck. I know that there are ones that are rechargeable. If you're going to get one, you got to get the rechargeable ones. They're a little bit more expensive, but you can just clip that on there, and then you press a button, and then it shows you on the screen right there what string you're on, what tune you're in, and it's good. You don't have to be quiet. In fact, you don't even have to have it plugged in. It just goes based on the vibrations. I use a pedal tuner. The advantage with that is that it shows it really, really clear. You don't have to buy batteries. And The other big thing too is that it's extremely accurate. So it's $100 versus like $30 versus free. But yeah, using your phone is kind of like I'm a noob. That's like a noob thing to do. So if you want to do it, go for it. It's a cheap option, but yeah, you don't really want to do that. So you don't want to buy you don't want to have a app on your phone for tuning. That's why, because it makes you look like a nerd. So excuse me, guys, I got to tune my guitar. Let me get my phone out. That's the problem with it. Everyone's like, this guy doesn't have a tuner. Nathan on TikTok says it's just easy, Pat. Can we get some nerd emojis in the chat? Can we get some nerd emojis in the chat? We got to hit him with a... This is you right now. This is you. Guys, I need to tune my guitar. Let me get my phone out. Thank you for the nerd emojis. We got Blake. We got Halifax. We got Zav. Thank you, guys. Let's see here. Any other questions? I have an idea. All right, everybody, if you have a question, throw it out there. I'm going to try and do one at a time now. We'll look through it, see if there's a really great question for us. Nathan says, stop, I have braces and glasses. Nerd! Nerd! You just let everybody in the room know that you are an easy target. Nerd! That's so funny, man. Come on, guys. I have braces and glasses. Stop making fun of me. How would you out yourself like that, man? That's like saying, I don't have a girlfriend either. Don't make fun of me. It's like, why would you admit that? We're not even talking about that. I was just joking. Now I'm going to make fun of you for real. For real, dude. Everybody on YouTube is just shouting nerd, dude. You're getting dragged. This is insane. Was that Zav says? Was that Meatwad? I could do a Meatwad impression. Hold on, let me pull up Meatwad. We'll pull up. Did everyone know who Meatwad is? I can do a pretty good Meatwad impression. Hold on. Let me move myself out of the way. Hey everybody, this is Meatwad. We're playing some music with Patrick Gnarly. We're gonna be talking about guitar, music, and streaming. Let me know if you got a question you need answered. It's me, Meatwad. Yo, shout out to Meatwad. Thank you so much. Hey, no problem, Pat. This is a cool thing you got going on. It's free, right? You don't have to pay for this? I mean, you don't have to, but you can, just, if you want to send a donation, you can. Okay, good. I wasn't going to send you anything. Because you're cool, but you're not that cool. You know what I mean? All right, cool. Go away, Meatwad. We got a bit of time left in the show, too. That's funny. Let's see here. Any other questions? What do we got? We're answering questions about guitar, music, streaming, so you let me know if there's something you guys want to hear. Also, shout out to TikTok one more time for getting mad at me for showing a website. Very funny. Excuse me, you can't show that. It's a website. YouTube has never gotten mad at me for that. It's so funny. Yeah, can we get some L TikTok? Let's get some L TikToks in there. Love it. Zav says, remember when he had the Void? Oh, dude, yeah, the Void. That's old. That's ancient. That's a year old now. We've moved on from that. We have beautiful scenery. In fact, once I get this thing taken care of, we have a thing for the mods that are going to be able to type something in the chat, and it's going to be able to change the background. So I'm still trying to get it taken care of, but it's taking time. It's taking its sweet time. Rachel says, going to have to bring back the TikTok line in bloom now. Let's see here. Local Nirvana fan on TikTok says, what's your favorite Nirvana guitar of all time? I like the Jaguar. The Jag's pretty cool. It's iconic to me. The Jaguar's iconic. The Mustangs are cool too, but I think really the guitar that when I think of Nirvana, it's the Jaguar. Yeah, that's like one of the only guitars he didn't actually smash. Really worked out for him. The Mustang or the Smells Like Teen Spirit Mustang is really good too. That's another really cool one. I think actually, if you want to know a really interesting thing about my show, is part of the reason I really like Lake Placid Blue is because I thought his Mustang was Lake Placid Blue. So TikTok says, we have detected inactivity in your current live. Yeah, right. Sure, buddy. I forgot about that. YouTube doesn't do that either. YouTube is pretty chill about letting me just do my show without being interrupted. No other one. Oh, we got Halifax that says, when I think of Jaguars, I see Nirvana. Yeah, me too. Yeah, it's anytime I see a Jaguar with somebody, I'm like, you're a Nirvana fan. Hands down, it's like you have to be. Single-handedly, Kurt Cobain brought that guitar back from the dead, dude. Single-handedly. And then you have obviously the Smiths. The Smiths guitar. What's the name of the guitar player from the Smiths? I'm forgetting his name right now. You know what I'm talking about. Johnny Marr. That's his name. Johnny Marr. Yeah, the Johnny Marr Jaguar is really cool. Both of those, the Kurt Cobain Jaguar and the Johnny Marr, came out the same year, 2012. I remember that. It's when I got this guitar, actually, too. That was the anniversary when I got the Evil Jaguar. When I got this guitar, that's when it was 2012. So this guitar is pretty cool. Pretty happy about that. Yeah. Man, I want to play some music. I want to play some music now, but I can't do it on this channel. If you didn't know, on TikTok, I have a second channel now on YouTube. So it's where I talk. I do the advice stuff, and I talk about the show. But we're going to be playing music again. I'll be restarting the live in about 15 minutes. So, oh, man. Yeah, it's all electric tape. Yeah, if you look at it really closely, you can see that it's electric tape. So I don't like Candy Apple Red. So I put electric tape all over it. Meteora on TikTok says, petition to get Pat on another podcast. I mean, it was my own podcast, so if I could be on somebody else's show, that'd be interesting. I don't know how that would work. I think it looks good, too. Well, I'll tell you what. I think we're running out of topics to talk about. So I think we'll answer one last question for the night, and then we're going to wait until I play some music. I think that'll be the move. So if anybody has one last question, we have one last question of the night. I'll try and answer it. I'll see if anybody has a good one. Let's see if we can do something for you. Oh, you like Day Old Me? I'm a big fan of Zelda. I like Zelda a lot. All right. No other questions, I see. It looks like Blake has the best question. So Blake says, if you got the drums, if you got the drums set up, would you do Pat plays drums stream? Yeah, I would do that. Yeah, the drum set's still right over there. I have an electric drum set. I can just plug it right in. So Halifax says, no music? Ah, you're right. Actually, good point. Pat plays Buddy Rich. That'd be sick. That would be really cool. Yeah, I got to be careful playing music on this because they'll get mad at me. So sorry about that. They will identify. It's really interesting how that works. All right, well, I'll tell you what. That was the last question. If you are watching me on TikTok, I will be back in about half an hour. We'll be back in about half an hour. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start playing music on here. And then if you're on YouTube, make sure you follow me on my main account, Patrick Gnarly. This is Patrick Gnarly and Company. This is where I like to answer questions, post videos, talking about stuff. No music on here, but Yeah, if you want to go watch me play some music, if you want to hear something, go check out that main channel of Just Patrick Gnarly. There's a link in the channel description. So I'll be back on TikTok, so don't worry about it, you guys. Once again, thank you to the people who sent donations. There were a couple people on TikTok who did, so thank you so much to Ice Cold. Thank you so much to Nathan. Everyone say thank you so much to Nirvana fan, Meteora. So you guys are awesome. But I will be back, everybody. Thank you guys so much for being here. I'll be back. See you later. Stay gnarly. Bye, everybody. Bye, everybody. See you later. I'll see you soon. Bye. See you later, everybody.